Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Whatever part of the world you're currently listening to our podcast and video blog. If you're watching our YouTube Face Economics TV channel, thank you for joining us. Today's February the 9th, and it's at 9:34 p.m. Sunday. And I thought I'd join you guys again and kind of reflect a little bit about this case with Prince Harry of Britain. um, and as many of you are familiar with, I grew up in the state of Virginia, which is a former British colony. But on top of that, Virginia was actually the seat of the British crown during those times, the colonial period, where they based themselves in Williamsburg, Yorktown, and Jamestown, Virginia. So the centennial is actually coming up this year. So if you guys are in the country, please come visit us in Virginia, and watch the celebration in Williamsburg. It's going to be well populated and well attended in the next couple of months. So the centennial of America is going to be basically on July the 4th, when we became an independent, I believe is when it's supposed to be celebrated. Please feel free to correct me on the dates if it's not the date when they're going to be having the event in Williamsburg. But as far as what I heard, it's supposed to take place on July the 4th. But anyway, Virginia is the seat of the Commonwealth, crown uh, of the British Empire. And as many of you know, this case with Prince Harry, where he had basically uh, lied on his visa application pertaining to his drug and illegal substance use, that he basically declared he never he never used. So I just wanted to kind of share that bits of information with you as we're going to review the overall situation with his case, because I think there's been this ethic issue, and on top of the illegal nature of the case, there's this issue with him as a monarch and of a privileged background, um, is basically getting a pass on being deported, for lying to immigration officials. Basically, he managed to stay longer due to the fact that he had access to, uh, top lawyers or legal representation to basically keep him in the country. So I really don't want to kind of single him out. I know there's more to this situation pertaining to the overall, his ability to stay in the country longer and be able to, use his notoriety and royalty and privileges to basically influence key decision makers in our country, especially the Biden administration. So, when I was in college, I studied at a university which was a fairly pro-British, society, pro-British culture, very strategically involved in the endorsement of Western civilization concept and history. So, kind of watched that wholeheartedly and partake on various, events and missions and trips to Britain, basically Scotland, Wales, and Ireland, to learn more about their overall social structure, norms, traditions, political environment, as well as economic structure and tendencies. So I was fairly immersed with, British, uh, you know, the British social character, if I can put it that way. So I'm kind of, you know, like I'm thinking about what Mr. Uh, Harry had done, and I feel as if, with all those privileges and everything that he's had in his life, and he managed to basically, toss everything out of the window and partake on things that people in their right mind and right, brain capacity would want to partake in, especially something so, outlandish, something so immature. But he decided to do it. I'm not, just talking about the drug use, but the overall situation with him lying. But I guess the gravity of it is not what I'm more, it's not something that I was um, overly concerned about. What I'm mainly looking into is his, ethical uh, situation in which he basically used his privileges and money and uh, his ability to um, connect with key decision makers in our country and give him a pass was mostly what I'm, worried about, because he managed to influence a lot of, top decision makers in our country based off of his royalty label. So, yeah, I thought I'd kind of reflect a little bit more about this, because typically, a regular person will definitely not get that kind of pass, especially if you're nobody, if you're poor, or if you come from an underprivileged background, you're marginalized in America, you're definitely not going to get that kind of, you know, um, access into the country, and even stay in the country for that long of a period of time. So, but on the other side of the token, also, I want to reflect on, today's uh, monarchy, the ethics of the monarchy in the new world marketplace. Okay, folks, not all monarchs in Europe are similar to the British monarchy structure. There are very low key, down to earth, underprivileged monarchs also of Europe. Granted, they didn't come from, the Western European countries, but most of them, uh, were a part of the structure, the monarchy structure throughout Europe, but, they didn't get access to the same privileges as the Western European monarchs did. So I'm kind of looking at the, both sides of the coins, but I'm also looking at the ethics of monarchy. So most of you probably have heard monarchy is, an establishment under the religious sect of a society. This monarchies tend to be, endorsed by the religious sector of a country and supported by the church, and basically uh, indoors by, the underprivileged, the mostly uneducated population. Excuse my baby girl, she's barking. She's actually from Europe. She was born in Europe, so she probably heard me talk about, certain conditions in Europe. But she is what she was born there. I brought her back to the States from Europe. But anyway, yeah. So is it fair for those that are basically operating under the rules and conditions of the U.S. pertaining to, being truthful on their visa application, when a monarch, especially someone came from privilege, is basically not even interested in, um, honoring our system, and abiding by our prerequisites. Yes, granted that the U.S. was a former British colony, and Prince Harry's ancestor did partake in the colonization of America and the development of America in one way or form. But is it fair to those that are not from that kind of background to um, basically be penalized for lying to immigration, and using false pretenses and information under U.S. visa, application? And then here you are, a royalty, a monarch has had access to privileges, wealth, and everything, power. Basically, they decided not to, or he has decided not to honor our system, and respect it. Yeah, folks. So anyway, yeah, the quagmire, and I think the overall ethics behind it is what's more problematic in many ways, because, you know, um, you would want people to come to your country that are, somewhat of good character and values. I'm not saying perfect. I certainly wouldn't call anybody perfect. I myself am not perfect, but I would certainly would like people to come to America and respect our, system and values and ethical principles. Yeah, so I just thought I'd kind of put it out there. I've always been a fan of, the history of the monarchs throughout Europe and even other parts of the world. Should they be around still? Should their legacy be, observed and um, celebrated? I'm not so sure if I would, uh, support that kind of putting people on a pedestal just because of their family background or lineage or whatever it is that they come from. I believe in merit. I believe in you know basically you know doing things uh, to increase your capacity without your family connections or influence or any of that. I believe in people who um, build themselves up, create and influence and build who they are as a person. I've got no respect for people that are operating based off of, a namesake or a pedigree. People talk about pedigrees. I'm like, no, pedigrees are like for people that don't think and use their brains. They need that pedigree status so that, they don't have to do the heavy lifting and increasing capacity on their own and investing in themselves because they've got their pedigree, quote unquote pedigree. What does that really mean? So Europe, as you all know, have been plagued with a lot of issues pertaining to ethnocentrism, pertaining to certain class and structures that is directly connected to a pedigree. It's a very elitist society in Europe. If you're not within a certain pedigree in Europe, it's very hard to get through that glass ceiling in terms of financial and social mobility. I'm glad today it's no longer as you know as well observed or well practiced, but it's still there. It's still looming within the halls of their political system, within the halls of their, you know, um, wealthy elites. So anyway, I just thought I'd talk a little bit about this issue with Prince Harry because, you know, um, it's setting a precedence pertaining to how America is and should be governed and operate, and what type of individuals should be admitted into our country. I'm not talking about perfect people. They don't exist. I would like to see quality people, which I believe there are tons of quality people around the world. And so, with that said, folks, my name is Al Mino with the PG. I'm sorry, the Phase Economics um, podcast. It's been quite a day for me today. I've just been working on various projects, so I apologize if I'm a little tired talking to you now, but I wanted to do this specifically to basically, compel everyone to think about the certain value systems that we should observe in America and frankly around the world. You know, Fortunately, people today are not as motivated as before to build up their character. Just because we get access to just about everything, things are given to us fairly easily nowadays in the marketplace in itself to kind of open up the floodgates for people to get access to tons of things, maybe information or goods and services. So uh, we need to build our character as individuals, because we're going against a wave of you know utopia that everybody's basically wanting to partake in because things are going to be easy. Instead of challenging themselves, they partake on things that are easy. And, as many of you are familiar with, things that come in easy doesn't really last very long. So you want to build up your capacity, you want to build up your character, you want to build up your overall, strategy in creating, you know, opportunities for yourselves. And even if you were to be a leader, an influencer, you want to basically, win hearts and minds based off of your own capacity and your background, your character, things that you basically overcome throughout your life. This pedigree crap is so outdated. No one should be even participating in subscribing to the notion that your bloodline or your pedigree or your family background or whatever it is would make you a different person. A person's individual choice is what makes you a different person. Okay, not your pedigree. So yeah, I wanted to put this out there. If you have any comments, thoughts, let me know on the description section of this video blog. You can't really opine on my podcast, platform, unfortunately, but you can provide your opinion, suggestion, your thoughts in our uh, YouTube Face Economics TV channel. So feel free to go to our YouTube Face Economics TV channel and opine there. Love to hear back from you. And anybody that would like to join me as a guest, please also let me know. I have been basically putting off bringing in guests the last couple of months just because of scheduling issues and projects that I'm engaged in. But now this year, I'm really looking to bring in guests to basically bounce ideas off with and talk a little bit about their background and kind of mix things up a little. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, listening, and supporting our podcast. Please share and let people know about our overall campaign by utilizing the social media platform and economic development worldwide, and also supporting capacity building and overall, growth in various sectors and markets and communities. Okay, here in America, because it's very important that we continue to build America. Okay, I'm more interested in building America today than rebuilding it to where it was. I understand the need to, having a model of previous America, but I think we can make things much better and becoming more inclusive as a society and supporting each other and helping each other succeed together. The, the main problem that we've been having in America is we've been divided mostly. We're being divided by so many sectors in America that many people in our country are getting confused, irritated, and agitated, frankly, because, you know, there's so many competing forces and making us all uh, basically not want to, work with each other, be around each other, or connect, or, appreciate each other and value each other. Okay, folks. And unfortunately, some of that manifested itself in the form of U.S. politics. So, and I, tried to endorse this as much as I can when I was running for office, actually, as an independent candidate, in which, I might run again. Who knows? If anybody out there would like to support me and would like to volunteer, please let us know. Comment at the bottom section of this podcast or video blog. Let us know that you would like to help us out and join our team. I am going to start rebuilding our team this year around and kind of put people on the right seat in the bus and get things off much more stronger and efficient this time around. Granted, when I first run, it was during a pandemic, so it's never an easy task to uh, be in a situation where you're not able to congregate, you're not able to talk to people within proximity, you can't have interaction with the public. It's very difficult to run for office that way. With that said, folks, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your support. Let me know if you have any comments, suggestions, the bottom section of this podcast and video blog. So I'm going to wrap things up with this. Okay, folks, we're all the same. We're all human beings, and we're all put in this world for a purpose. Okay, not all of us, are dealing with the exact same issue or problem. We need to be mindful that people of every background and race are going through, challenges in their lives. Let's try to be, appreciative of that, and be more nicer to people, make, their lives a little bit brighter, let them make them smile if we can, uh, because we're only going to be on this rock for a short period of time, and the more that we try to use our lives to influence humanity for the good, and for a a more peaceful world, then our lives would have meant something. Okay, we need to continue to live for a purpose, and build things up, not destroy, you know, things down, and be nasty with people. Um, there's no reason for that anymore, folks. And actually, frankly, there was never ever a reason to be nasty to people. It's just there's people that are not happy with themselves, and they take it out on other people. Okay, so with this said, please review my podcast and let us know what you think about the ethics of the monarchy in the New World Marketplace. Before I let you go, what I meant by the New World Marketplace is not really a New World, situation. It's just when I say marketplace, it's because marketplace evolves, capacity evolves, and doctrines and concepts evolve in a marketplace, and on top of products and services. Okay, folks. So that's what I meant by the New World Marketplace. Yes, there are countries that are advancing today and will continue to advance, but that's not what I meant by the New World Marketplace. It's the marketplace that is, actively learning. Okay, when I meant the New World Marketplace, because of the current situation with the social media platform, artificial intelligence, and everything else that we now have in our fingertips to utilize, to build capacity in the marketplace. So that's what I meant by, the marketplace. I know there's people, kind of, tossing ideas of all sorts of evaluations of the marketplace. There's no new world order such thing. There isn't ever going to be a new world order because there was never a new world order. There's capacity building. There is people that want to, improve their society, and there are people that don't want to improve their society. There are people that simply don't want to build up their marketplace, and there are people that want to build up their marketplace. But there is no such thing as a new world order. I don't know where that term even came from. I know there's some people talking about, the globalist. That does not exist. Okay. Sometimes when people overly, explore ideas that is not really, within their capacity or background or intellectual, background. It's just they create wordings and ideas and concepts that simply not even accurate. Okay, so the globalist, I hear that a lot. People that wants to be, the globalist. What's that really mean? That doesn't mean anything. The reason for that is because everybody have been accessing other parts of the world throughout humankind. When there was the land bridge that connected North America with Asia, for example, those people weren't globalists. They were explorers. They were pioneers. They were navigators. They were looking to, you know, build their capacity to discover new worlds. And so the globalist agenda, and I hear this tossed around so much, is non-existent. There is no such thing as a globalist. Okay, folks. There are people out there that wants to build capacity and develop, markets. But the globalists, what does that mean? They're trying to basically have this new world order, or a structure that is going to be just a lump-sided power, struggle. It's never really like that. If you've been reading and reviewing the evolution of the world and marketplace, um, there is no globalist. There's no globalism movement countries simply want to build their capacity. Markets and societies want to build their capacity. And that's true anywhere around the world. Okay, folks, with this said, my name is Al Mina, the concept author of Face Economics, the utilization of the social media platform in economic development worldwide. Thank you for listening and watching. Have a wonderful week ahead. Take care. Bye bye.